Today we're going to make some crunch bars. So get your oven preheating right away at 400 degrees because you want that to be ready for when this has to go in the oven. The timing has to be just right where the oven is at temperature when you're ready to put it in. We're going to have a cookie sheet here and I have it lined with foil. If you do not line this with foil, you're going to end up throwing the whole thing in the garbage. So make sure you line your cookie sheet with some foil paper, aluminum foil. And I've also sprayed it just for that extra precaution to make sure nothing sticks. I've got some Premium Plus crackers. You can just use no-name soda crackers, doesn't matter. But we want to line the cookie sheet with the crackers the whole way. It takes about, this is a 17 by 12 cookie sheet. It's going to take about 53 crackers. When you get to the end and your cracker won't fit, just cut a few crackers in half. And we're just going to trim them to fit here so that we've got a layer of crackers the whole way. Once this is now ready for the topping that we're going to put on, so we're going to go to the stove and we're going to do that next step. I have 1 cup of butter and 1 cup of packed brown sugar or yellow sugar. And you want this on a medium to high heat. And I'm just going to stir this until it comes to a boil. And I'll show you when that is, because then once you come to a boil, you have to stop stirring and let it boil for 3 minutes without stirring it. So I'm just going to get this up to temperature so that you'll be able to see. All right, this is just starting to come to a boil now. So I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes, and we're just going to let this boil just like that. You can turn your temperature down just a hair. I don't want anything to burn, and it shouldn't burn. 3 minutes. And we'll take a look. It's just going to nicely bubble and caramelize. At the 1.5 minute mark here, you can see this is foaming up a little bit. So just make sure when you're using a pot, make sure it's a tall enough pot for this. You don't want to have a really shallow pan because you don't want it to boil over. All right, that's 3 minutes. And we are going to gently pour this on our crackers. And you want to make sure we have enough to go over all the crackers. We're just going to slowly pour that. So make sure your oven is already up to temperature. Mine's up to 400 degrees here, so that I can be putting this in straight into the oven. Because it wants to keep that nice heat so that you'll end up having that nice crunch on your bars later. And use your spatula to spread it around all the crackers. So just get a thin layer over all the crackers and get it right into the oven. And you're going to bake this at the 400 degrees for 7 minutes. Crackers with the caramel on top is in the oven. You're going to take 8 of your Baker's semi-sweet chocolate squares and we're going to chop this up really fine. If you have a food processor, great tool to use this. Otherwise you're going to have to chop it by hand with a big knife on a cutting board. So you want to get this chopped up before we're going to put it on top. So I'm not going to do this on camera because it's very noisy, but I'm just going to get this chopped up really fine, so either with a food processor or by hand. This chopped up, roughly chopped, and this is ready to go on top of the caramel as soon as that comes out of the oven. Almost up. I just want to show you that how it nicely is bubbling in the oven. So I have another 30 seconds or so here. Taking this out of the oven because as you'll see it'll move, it's liquidy, and you'll want to get your chopped chocolate right away, and we're just going to sprinkle this all over, and then we're going to let that sit for about 5 minutes so that the chocolate can melt because this is smoking hot here. So we're going to just let it melt before we spread the chocolate. Alright, so you just want to take your spatula, and now that it's melting, you can just do a nice spread of your chocolate all the way to the corners. It's one of those things that's so satisfying to watch. All right. And then I'm going to take some sliced almonds. And we're going to just, any kind of nuts that you like, and you can sprinkle these on here. You want to do that right away so that it all melts into the chocolate. I've also done those there's little tiny chocolate balls that are colorful. They're cute on here. Or you can take some sprinkles, if you have kids that really like sprinkles. Especially at Christmas time, it's fun to do it with the colorful balls on there. Any variety of nuts that you have. I personally like the almonds on there, so we'll just put a few more almonds. I'm only using maybe half a cup of almonds. You can use walnuts, any nuts that you have on hand. Now you're going to let this cool completely. If you have a place in your fridge, put them in the fridge because you want everything to harden so that we can break it up, and it's almost like a brittle where you're not going to have perfect squares at all. They're going to be they'll break in different sizes, but that's okay. So we're going to let this cool completely and harden, and then I'll show you what that looks like done. All right, our crunch bars have been in the fridge for about an hour, and they're all hard. So now I would like to just get this off of the foil so that when I'm cutting it, I don't get foil in any of my pieces. And you'll break it, that's okay. It's like a brittle, so you can have it in pieces. There we go. You can try cutting it in nice pieces. It usually doesn't happen. And Juliana wanted some pieces that had chocolate and sprinkles together. So we just made sure that we had a few pieces like that. And so these are really nice Christmas time. And you just put a bunch on a platter. And there you go. Here's the recipe.